Hello, welcome to DevBlog3. So last time we left off, we were wanting to have the warriors and monsters fight, and we had a little bit of counting problems. It seemed like I didn't have a good handle on how many monsters were spawning every day and what were happening to them. So it turns out I'm just, I don't know, sometimes I'm math dumb, I guess, but that should be resolved now. So let's go ahead. We're going to hire a warrior. So here's the intent. The intent is on monsters fight at night, and they spawn in the morning. So day one, we don't have any monsters. Night one, there aren't any monsters. And so go to bed and rest. Warriors fight monsters. There were no monsters to fight, whatever. Cool. And morning, a monster has spawned. So morning of day one, no monster. Night of day one, no monster. Morning of day one, we spawn a monster, which is what we have here. So we're going to go to bed again. At night, this warrior that is currently he's special. He is going to fight this monster over here. And what we should see is that monster go away, and in the morning, 2 new monsters spawn. Every day, we increment the number of monsters that spawn by 1. So, day 1 is 0, day 2 is 1, day 3 is 2, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. Obviously, that's not how it's going to be in-game. I'm going to have a little bit more nuance in that, but this is just like getting the core loop in. So, with the bed, we have 2 monsters, because the warrior killed the first one. So there's 2 more. So we have 2 monsters instead of 3. Day 4, we should spawn 3 monsters, that'd be 5. But that warrior should kill 1. So when I wake up, I should see 4 monsters. 1 monster remains. I goofed. Or did I? I did. Nope. Yep. I don't know what happened. So let's watch this again, and I'm just going to say words and make predictions. Okay. Let's just spawn monsters, first of all. Go to bed, sleep. No warriors, so no subtraction. We're going just straight adding monsters. We've added 1 monster. So tomorrow we should be adding 2 monsters. We should have 3. Boom. So tomorrow we should be adding 3 monsters. So there should be 6. So on day 4 we have 6 monsters. Yep, 3 monsters remain. We're adding 3 more. There should be 6 monsters on field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, okay, that's what we have. Yeah, okay, cool. So we're not going to do any more. We know by day 4 we have 6 monsters. So if I hire, if I hire a warrior, every day the number of monsters spawn is reduced by 1. So day 2 we should have 1 monster spawn. Boom. Alright. Day 3. Oh, fuck, I just hired. Let's start over. Go to bed. 1 monster should spawn. Very good. Now we go to bed again. 2 monsters should spawn. 1 should die. So we should see 2 monsters on field. Fantastic. So day 4, 3 monsters should spawn. 1 should die. Oops. We should have 2 monsters. Day 4, 1, 2, 3 should spawn. I should see 4 monsters. I should. Yeah, 4 monsters. Okay. Maybe I just did bad math in my head before. Let's push it 1 more. Day 5. 4 monsters should spawn. That brings us to 8 minus 1. We should have 7 monsters. So 3 monsters remain because we killed 1, but we're spawning 4, brings us to 7. And that looks like 7. Yep. 3, 6, 7. Yep. Okay, cool. So we didn't have any issues. I'm just doofy in the brain. Cool. So I'm not doing this in a spectacular way, frankly. But again, I just want to reiterate over and over. Right now, the goal is just to get the core loop done. Just to get it on this stick. Does this feel good? Is this fun? Is this engaging? Is this something that I want to spend my time doing? And once we have it just in there, I'm going to go back, refactor in C++, do it right. Do it in a way that's good. Do it in a way that's robust and expandable and stable. And doesn't confuse me as I try to do this finger math poorly. But the way I'm doing it is I am event begin play. We're binding to 2 events, day start and bedtime. Basically, player wakes up in the morning, player goes to sleep at night. And bedtime happens either when you pass out or you go to bed. Both things occur. So day start, we call it new day, and we spawn our monsters. And this is pretty straightforward. Let me just kind of bring this in, make it a little bit more readable. I don't want to spawn a monster in day 1 because I want to get the player time to prepare. So you have to be at least on day 2 to spawn a monster. We're going to find all of our monster spawners. Currently there's only 1, but I can place multiple for reasons. And we say, okay, well, what day is it? A for loop's a little weird. I don't like using for loops, but I'm working with integers here, so I'm just doing it. Why are you starting an index 2, Travis? Well, because I only want to spawn 1 monster per day, or 1 additional monster per day. If I started at index 0, so index 0, so it's day 1, I don't have any monsters. Day 2, I only want to spawn 1. But if I do a for loop starting index 0, I'm spawning index 0, index 1, index 2. I'll be spawning 3 monsters on the player's burst time dealing with monsters. I don't want that. We're starting on day 2, we want 1 monster. We start on day 2 for 1 index. And I get all my spawners. I'm just randomly picking 1 to spawn from. Currently there's only 1, so it's whatever. So I'll make sure it's valid. If it's not valid, put a breakpoint there. I need to make a better debug thing in C++, but for now this is fine. Actually, I don't need a breakpoint there. It'll just, it's fine. We spawn a monster and we say, okay, the monster's in the field. We'll look at this function in a second. So new day, basically, for every day we spawn a monster. You saw it in action. We're also binding an event bedtime. That's when the fighting happens. So the very first thing we do is we kill monsters. Just before we do anything else, we're like, how many warriors are there? We're removing that many monsters from the field. So monsters to kill, if that number is... If you're not killing any monsters, why do any of that? It's not a lot, but why run no code, right? Just whatever. So as long as we're killing some monsters, get all those monsters, and for each monster, we're going to go through our index and say, is it less than the monsters we have to kill? Again, indices start at 0, but as humans we count starting with 1s. So if we have 4 monsters to kill, that's the number we're working with is 3, actually. Because 0, 1, 2, 3. I know you know this, but anyway. So we're just saying less than, so we're not inclusive of a final index. So if our index is less than a monsters to kill, we destroy that actor. And that's all there is to it. So it kills that monster. that's just removing the actor from the game, but it hasn't changed anything else. So next thing we do is we say, well, okay, how many monsters remain on field? I could probably do that in here, and I probably will do that in here, but whatever. Monsters on field minus warriors on field. Pretty straightforward. That's how many monsters remain on your field. If that number is greater than 0, well, let's do less than 0, or let's say if it's not greater than 0. We want to make sure we don't have negative monsters, because that can get a little funny. And things are fine. Things are magical, happy-go-lucky. But if monsters remain, we destroy our plants. We have our little text here, and we move on with our lives. And this isn't a great place for it, but this just says, oh, you've gone to bed? Okay, what's your stamina like? Did you pass out? Did you go to bed and rest? This should be handled somewhere else. I should probably handle this in the player character or the player character or the player controller. But it's just here for now because this is where I was when I was thinking about it. And if I have to bounce around between too many scripts, I kind of get confused and lose myself. So yeah, I'm pretty sure yesterday I showed off what destroying plants is like, but basically if we destroy a plant, we get them all, we check its soil condition, and we say it's destroyed by monsters. We only want to destroy plants that have been planted, because again, a plant is just the soil base, and the soil base just has these enums of conditions containing like, am I tilled, untilled, or planted? So we get all of our planted soils, and we're like, cool, how many monsters aren't filled? We are going to just kind of get some of these random planted soils and destroy them. Of course, constant validation checks. And destroy our plants, which spawns seeds. So that is that. The next thing I want to work on, like, while yes, this is fine, it's functional, I don't like seeing their heads just kind of, I don't like the Z-axis reorientation that Unreal is kind of doing. I want to write my own spawning reorientation script, and there's a number of ways I can handle that. I can literally just words fail me. So let me go to my spawner and I will show you what is in my brain. I could literally just say it's valid. So if I just say default or do not spawn, I could just like retry. I'm not sure if Unreal, because I have a random int in, so we're not valid. We're going to see if Unreal just says this is an infinite loop or not. I'm pretty sure it will detect this as an infinite loop, but we're also going to negative 1,000. We're going to do that full circle thing I was mentioning before. I just did negative 10,000, didn't I? So we're going to increase just how much range we have to play with to potentially spawn this actor. We're only editing this x-axis here. So there's the infinite loop possibility. Let's just save and we'll see what happens. I can kind of hard code a little like check myself. Yeah, it's the infinite loop. Oh, hey, look at it. It didn't crash. It just didn't like that. I could do a little loop counter in here and be like, oh, well, just loop X number of times, and if you looped 10,000 times, then I don't know what. I don't like that. So I think what I'm going to do instead is, it's actually a good question. So I need to find a way to find valid spawn points. And there's a number of ways I can do that. Because this spawn actor here, it clearly already checks, and it already has this try adjust. It already kind of does a little bit of what I'm wanting to do. What I don't like is that it very quickly adjusts to the z-axis. I'm very curious if just like increasing my range by an order of magnitude. I'm just curious what impact this has. This is gonna be, I guess, a longer video. Just kind of get to see my process here. Where'd you go? Way over there. That's fine. That works. You're above ground. This isn't going to be 100% reliable, though. Like, way over there. It's huge. Oh, look, yeah. See, a spawn up. See, that's something else to consider too. Is the fact that if I'm not very careful and deliberate about where I place my spawn points, I can end up with characters who are off the map. So I want to keep everything confined. You know what? The easiest way to do this. The easiest way to do this, I'm overthinking, I'm overcomplicating it, is to just have my spawn points be self-contained. What do I mean by that? I mean, we'll just throw another static mesh. It's fine. Whoops. You know what? Plain. You know, we're just going to do a plain. We're just going to plain. And this is fine. And I'm just going to say, can I just make your size bigger? No? Okay. Anyway, we're just going to do this right here. And I'm just going to steal this material again. Matter of fact, I don't even want this guy. Random material. Copy. This. Whoops, wrong plane. This data mesh is dumb. It's unnecessary. I'm going to paste that. Take the 0. I'm going to give you a, let's give you just like a much plainer material. Sure. Why not? And we're just going to move you up. Okay. So what is this? I am just going to say, get this plane. We're going to see if I can get, oh boy, what's it called? Bounding box. Get local bounds. Yeah. Min max. Cool. And instead of all this magical happy-go-lucky stuff, don't need a forward vector. Don't need any of that. Don't need any of this. We're just going to pick a random spot. Get random. Can I get a random vector? Oh my god, my hands are cold. Can I really not do that? Do I really have to do random? So I'm going to do a random vector in range instead of making my own. I guess I'll make my own. Fine. Random integer. So we're going to have a lot of these. We're going to do our minimum. So going to do min. Oh my god. You go away. I might make this a macro just to make it look a little neater, look a little cleaner. Oh, not int. Float. Let's do random float. Random float and range. There we go. So that's our min. Let's split this. There's our max. That's our x. It's this, well, it's local bounds. So I'm pretty sure I still have to add that to my actor location. I'm just going to bring this over here and make vector. There we go. So that's going to be our x. That's going to be our y. And we're not going to mess with our z. Our z is going to remain. Just whatever the actor location is. So if I understand what this is, this should just spawn me in a random point. This should spawn me in a random point in this thing right here. Should be an operative word. Actually, you know what? Let's move you back to 0. And we're going to turn off collision on you. Don't need gravity, don't need any of this stuff. You cannot generate overlap events. Character cannot step on you. No collision. Cool. No shadow. Just, yeah. You don't even, whatever. It's fine. What does that look like? Okay, so this also tells me something like this is fucking massive, for instance. Where did my spawner go? Okay. First of all, I'm going to move you right there. And you won't be able to see the, you won't be able to see me adjust, but you can see the byproduct of adjusting my spawner here. Cool. Like, it's kind of immediately evident. I was like, man, I really didn't give a whole lot of space for these dudes to spawn. Alright, so they should spawn somewhere within this red. Ooh, I don't like that. There we go. Should being the operative phrase. Let's see if I've played myself. Higher. Okay, cool. So it's working ish, right? So what we're seeing is they're halfway through the ground. Oh, I'm dumb. That's why. Okay, cool. Travis, why are you dumb? Because everything happens in a pivot. Everything happens in a pivot. So, for instance, this thing's 0 origins right here. We see the gizmo. And stop this. Why are you like this? Be the opposite of this. So, I am not dumb. It is the game that is dumb. Why did you do that? Your pivot, your character movement's here in the center, but your capsule, which I can't move, your interact cursor's up there, your character mesh is down there. This is interesting. I'm going to assume that the actor's pivot is right here, which is why we're seeing them spawn halfway through the world. I thought we was going to base it off their mesh, but apparently we're not doing that. thought it was going to be at their feet, their pivot, but their pivot's apparently in the crotch. Yeah, pivot's in the crotch. Okay. Again, number of ways I could deal with this. We're going to do the dumb thing first. The dumbest solution I can come up with off the top of my head is just to be like, boop, 20 up. Just to bump it up 20 units. We'll just see if I'm right. I'm right-ish. That spawned 20 units up. Okay. Seen a number of interesting things happen. Do I still have it? Oh, I'm still having it adjust location. Always spawn, ignore collisions. Let us try that. And this should give us a more accurate... Yeah, that's what I expected to see. Okay. But we did see it has gravity. So we're just going to do 50 units. And so now when these guys... Excuse you. And so now when these guys spawn... Okay. Again, this is not a good way to do this. This is the dumb way. But... Excuse me. Don't you crash. I just, the first idea that comes to my head is the first idea I go with, and the second idea that comes to my head I ignore, and I instead try to think of the dumbest way to do something. Because the dumbest way is often the, I don't want to say the smart way. Cool. Alright. Great. We're seeing progress. Cool. So now let's try to adjust the location, but always spawn. So now, if I'm not mistaken, we should... they are choosing the same little area. But they are kind of adjusting. We're going to raise them a little bit more. And are the local bounds of that plane? I'm curious about something else. I'm curious if that is the area they're actually trying to spawn in. Let's find out. And to further just kind of remove some variables here, we're going to make this massive. I'll shove this down here where we can see it has collision, so I should just kind of be able to look up and see them. Yeah. Okay. So they're trying to spawn still within that center area, which tells me that local bounds does not do what I think it does. Cool. So I'm going to pause this, and when I get back, I will find out what's going on. And we're back. As always, the less I talk, the smarter I am. Anyway, I figured it out fairly quickly. So I've done a number of things. First of all, get local bounds does exactly what I think it does. It takes the center point of your, in this case, plane, but your component, your static mesh, and it finds the furthest point along the Y value from the center point, furthest point on the X value, the min and the max. So your largest negative X value, largest positive X value. It does this for your entire vector. But it doesn't take into account scale. It just looks at the local bounds of the mesh at default. So if you want to scale it up, you're going to have to get the world scale of that static mesh and multiply it. So that's what I've done here. I've taken local bounds. I'm going to find a random point within those local bounds. Great. Then I'm going to multiply that by its scale. I should probably do the opposite, right? Anyway, I think I need to do the opposite of that. But I also didn't like the way that my characters tended to bunch up real close to each other. So why does it keep doing this? Oh my god. This is also the wrong thing, but still. I didn't like the way they were bunched up next to each other. So where's my warrior? There we go. So I just added this. It's just a static mesh with collision. And it's just taking advantage of... It's the dumbest thing. It just takes advantage of this right here. So when a monster spawns... a warrior spawns, it's going to collide those static... Well, it's going to collide that static mesh with something else. But when it... I'm sorry. Maybe I added it to the... I did. I added it to the NPC character. Okay, that's fine. But as soon as it comes into play, I just remove it. First thing, so the player never sees it. And what we have in action is we have our spawn terrain there. We hire our warriors, and they're still a little close for my liking, really. But that's okay. They're further apart than they were. But I can just come back here. I can go to this viewport. I can click on my social distancing, and I can be like, you know what? You're still too close. You're still too cozy. Let's be COVID conscious. And we're just going to spread that out a bit. And I want to talk to this guy. And now everyone is a bit more spread out. You can see even when they're like close together, they look at that. Fit a whole person between them. It's a little nicer. It's a little cleaner, I think. And it feels a little bit more random. And they stay in this area. So now I won't have my warrior spawning, halfway in the world. And I also don't need that arrow now that I think about it. It's also facing the wrong way if I want them to be facing the way of the arrow. I digress. Now my dudes spawn. I can control where they're going to be. I can predict where they're going to be. Everything's going to feel very reasonable. So, and it should, if I just take this spawning script, and you're about to see me do something I don't like doing. You're going to see me copy code. Because really, this shouldn't be a warrior spawner versus a monster spawner. It should just be spawner. And it should just take in, what are we spawning? Which I started setting up, and I just didn't do. Just going to delete all that. We're going to do this. That's fine. Delete hero type. Drag that into spawn location. Oh, right, we need a plane. We're going to delete that static mesh. We're going to add a plane. Viewport. Take this arrow. I don't need an arrow, frankly. We don't even need an arrow. The plane's fine. I think this was a laser material. That is static mesh. That is not what I want. There we go. I think it's a screen laser material. So, it's there. We're going to set its scale to 8. right? I don't think so. Yeah, no, that was correct. Plane, yeah, plane exists, scale is 8. So this should all just work. That is massive. Why is this massive? Because I've scaled it twice. Now I've scaled it once. Cool. So now we should see our loop exactly as it was before. So let's go ahead and just go through everything before I close up today's devlog. I'm going to be doing a lot more work after this. I just wanted to log this, go through it. So seed, we're going to put some numroot. I think after this, I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup. I've noticed a couple of bugs with my time of day. Like I think after I get done talking to my warrior, I'm no longer paused. That's a problem. I've got some rep, so I'll just hire 2 of these guys. Let's go to sleep. And it should take a couple days before anything happens, really. Yep. So 2 monsters have spawned. They should die with 1 monster existing tomorrow. So I think I'll lose a plant. Yeah, and my time of day is frozen. Let's see if it restarts if I do this. I don't think it will. No, it kind of does. Yeah, no, it does. Okay, cool. I didn't pay attention how many plants I lost. None. Oh. Oh, no, that's right. Now I'll lose a plant. Okay. Because I had 2 warriors, 2 monsters. Cool. So we're going to harvest. So the part of the loop I really want to flesh out more is, or the action I want to prevent is exactly what I've been doing, which is going to bed multiple times in a row, waiting for stuff to grow. That's not interesting. And there's a number of things I could do. I can't plant sleep leaf because I don't have any more. Cool. I don't have any more of those seeds. What seeds do I have? I have shiproot and numroot. So these names, I'm sorry, they're very crass. But okay, cool. So I should lose 1 plant. 1 monster remains. 1 plant was destroyed in the night. 1 plants were. Love that. Picked up 2 seeds. I still have 2 warriors. But dude, standing up there. You know, that's within range. Okay. It's just a design error. See, that's the thing, like, bugs like this doesn't bother me. Because as a designer, I'm going to look at this and say, oh, well, yeah, my spawn point is underneath this. So, instead of going into code and fixing this, I just move my spawn point over 5 units. It's fine. I also need to bring my stamina back. My stamina, I think, has fallen off of my screen. I've got... Oh, I don't have any... Oh, yeah, I don't have food and catnip. I need to... And see, that's something else I need to do is remove those from my array there. Excuse me. God, I will never get over this. But I've got a lot of plants. So what do you need? You need antiseptic. What do you need? You need sleep tonic. What do you need? Muscle relaxer. So we're going to come here and what is numroot? So an antiseptic was one of the things I needed. So let's cook that. Muscle relaxer was one of the things I needed. So we're going to cook that. I actually don't remember what else was needed. Was it stomach relief? Sleep tonic. Cool. Medicine. Do you need laxative? No, you need antiseptic. Here you go. Oh, now I have 6 reputation. Cool. Need sleep tonic. Something I haven't tested yet, so we'll test it now. Is there we go. So my warriors are already outnumbered. Ooh, it's getting late. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. So I have more warriors than monsters now. Nope, I have the same number. We're gonna hire one more warrior. Great. Go to sleep. All my warriors fought off the monsters in the night. Why are there so many of you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh shit. Lost count. My camera. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 11 of you. Why are there 11 of you? Oh no. There. I will spend all my reputation. There should only be 7 of you, I think. Okay. Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. It worked. Again, I think I just did bad math before. I don't think I did, but I mean, something happened, right? So, I mean, clearly I need to work on communicating to the player how many warriors were fought and how many monsters were destroyed. I need to communicate to the player how many monsters have spawned in the morning after the battle. I need to communicate to the player why. Why do monsters come back during the day? So there's a lot that I need to communicate to the player about these nightly raids. A lot of which will be communicated visually if the player can just see what's happening. But also writing a battle report would go a long ways. But it works, right? I need to replace that monster material. That's just kind of weird. But it works. It just works. Anyways, so tomorrow we will have some fixed UI. I'll fix the time of day, the day passing bug. And I think the next project I'm going to work on, I think I'm going to put spawn points down around the farm. Now, hold on, let me think about this, because we need to go back to the core loop. The combat portion of the core loop is it's not great, right? But the idea is there. There's something to manage. There's feedback. We don't have anything for the player to do while they're waiting for the plants to grow. So my responses for this have been, at least in my head, have been 2 things. One, get to know the townspeople. Get to know the warriors, get to know the townsfolk who are sick. And that would mean actually writing a dialogue system, which I do intend to do. But is that a priority now is the question. I don't think it is. The second thing has been using this time to place warriors. When I hire a warrior, they don't just spawn in that spot, right? I'm given a flag, or maybe the warrior starts following me, and I say, okay, you're gonna wait here. You're gonna be here to fight the monsters. And the cool thing about this would be that kind of plays into the tower defense preparation loop. But I would also have to make that a meaningful decision. Right now, that's not a meaningful decision. Right now, all that matters is that they exist. So it's still something I can do, and I'll be working towards the tower defense element of the game. But is that necessary? I mean, I need something, right? So maybe instead I will introduce a seed shop where the player can spend reputation to buy seeds. And that will also create a little bit of conflict in the character to kind of push aside of like, oh man, do I want to spend money to buy seeds, or do I want to spend money on to hire warriors? And which becomes a much more complicated question as the game proceeds. Eventually I do want warriors to take damage, get sick, sustain injuries. That's down the road, though. I think tomorrow we're going to have a seed shop. I think that's going to be our objective after I do this bug fixing. So until then.